Ladies and gentlemen, hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Aram and this is the video analysis of the 2026 men's boat race. In conditions like these, most of you probably would not go out. You would say, I'll pass. I urge you not to. And the reason is that you don't get to choose the conditions. I understand that's the choppy bit because the wind was unfavorable. However, a race is a race. You can't choose the conditions. So please get accustomed to these kind of settings. And no, they cannot back off and they cannot say, oh, it's choppy here, let's all slow down a bit. That's not how it is. So I'd like to start this analysis with a quick reminder, as long as it's not dangerous because it's too cold, or if you fall in, you're going to be run over by a boat or by a ship, seek these conditions out on safe bodies of water, maybe with a coach around you and in warm conditions. But practice these and don't settle for a stroke rate 22 because you're scared. You have to be able to row in these conditions. Let's talk about the race. What I found absolutely fascinating was the quality of Oxford. I know you might have said, hey, Cambridge won. Yes, I know. But over the last couple of years, the difference in quality and speed between Oxford and Cambridge was stark. It was drastic. This year, it was not. And Cambridge, I think, had by far the fastest boat they've ever had, in my humble opinion. So yes, Oxford lost, but they lost by that little. And I'm not saying this because there was an Austrian in the Oxford boat. There were Austrians in Cambridge and Oxford boats before. I say this because the quality of both boats is superb. You get one rower in each boat that is a bit off, but I'm pretty sure with the selection they have done, they selected everybody on purpose. And there were people of the highest pedigree in both boats. Let's look at the start, the strategy. And that's something that sets the boat race apart from many other races. There is no getting into your game and playing for the long run because you got bends and curves. That means the first 500 do matter. You cannot try to get into your high lactate state slowly. You essentially go full send for the start. Yes, adrenaline is going to help you, but realistically, this is probably the worst tactics in terms of sustainable race plan that you can possibly pull off, but it's necessary. There is no other way, unless you are superior. But even Cambridge wasn't superior to Oxford, which speaks again for Oxford and of course for Cambridge. So they both are going full send because they both want to have a slight lead at the first turn. And this is something we just have to admire because by the time a regular 2K is over, they are hurting badly. And the race is still going on for the same distance they just did, plus a bit. The race was pretty fair from both crews, I think. Of course, you seek the best possible line, so they were very close to contact right here. That's one of these phases. And the umpire was super busy trying to get them apart. At one time, you could even see the Oxford coxswain raise his arm, say, I understand, I'm trying my best. So it is a fierce battle, and you don't want to be the coxswain who gave in, and therefore your crew lost. So you want to make sure as a coxswain, right the line between being fair, doing what's legal, what's allowed, sticking to the rules, but pushing. And this is how rowing works. Of course, you want to press the others, and I think Oxford did a fantastic job to do this. Here, by the way, we can talk about the technique difference. Look at Cambridge. Their overall rowing style is weight-driven, suspension-driven, and the way they move the boat with body weight is as harmonious as it can possibly be. The only rower in the Cambridge boat who's a bit off is, I think, 5 seed. You can see this here. So he bends his arms very early, right here. He's got a tremendous arm bend on the outside. Needs a while before he finds connection and then pushes with his legs through bent arms. That's not as effective as it could be, especially if you look at the other athletes here. But there must be a reason why he's in the boat, and he's simply contributing to boat speed better than others. Otherwise, he wouldn't be in the boat. But from a technique point of view, it's not a good conclusion to say he's in a boat, therefore the way he rows is correct. No, he could have been faster probably, but that's something you can't change as a Cambridge coach within a couple of weeks, because sometimes it requires changing muscle memory patterns. And rowing is a very automated motion, so it's not likely you can change this. It's more selection than actually developing with these kind of teams. So how do you change a rowing stroke like this, where you try to bend your arms, find resistance right away? The idea is that you take the resistance here with the upper back. You don't really take it with your arms. So when you catch, the idea is that the energy goes through right here, and when you push, you go into a suspension and hold. And that's what you see with most of the Cambridge and Oxford rowers. But that's something where you need to build muscle memory patterns to make this even happen. So a very good video to watch is the old Swiss lightweight 4, where they're doing legs and legs only drills. This is where you slowly practice this to hang, suspend, and try to feel this. And what we also see with the Oxford rowers as well as with the Cambridge rowers. Look at Bow, for example, here. Bow has got his hands about as high as his shoulders. So he's pulling right there. This is one line. The fingers are aligned here with the lats, and the lats merge about here. That's the bottom tip of the shoulders. This is where you want to come in. So, that forced transition. Why? Because your legs will easily overpower the rest of your body. Easily. So effectively what we do is we distribute the load, not just through the muscles, but it's muscles, tendons, and ligaments. So we want to go into a stretch and then hold. This is why rowing is not legs, upper body, and arms. It's suspend your body weight and then complete the motion, which looks like an arm pull, but is actually not. If you're interested, I happily make a dedicated video to understand how this actually works. Julian Schöbel here, fellow Austrian, in 2-seat of the Oxford boat. They all have perfect handle heights, wonderful to look at. And that brings me to 3-seat in the Oxford boat. You can see here's a drastic difference in the way he's using the upper body. Also, he's got some issues finding resistance. Nevertheless, there's a reason why he's in the boat. If he weren't a beast and fast as hell and wouldn't contribute massively to the boat speed, he wouldn't be selected. But of course, these are 5-seat in the Cambridge boat and 3-seat in the Oxford boat, the ones that visually, and I'm pretty sure their force curves don't match as well, don't fit in quite as well as everybody else. So that's the Bi-Rower Pro of 2025. Forgive me, it's rigged for sculling. I can rig this for sweep rowing, but I usually have it set up for sculling here. The principles are the same. And this is the old Bi-Rower app of 2025. There's a brand new one coming out very soon, and I will post about this on the Bi-Rower channels as well as on our newsletter. I wanted to show you what happens if you row like that. So if you use your upper body like this, I exaggerate of course, but if you go deep with your hands, you have to go up eventually. Why? Why can't you pull like this? Well, because the perfect entry height for your energy is about here. If you look at many top rowers, including that legendary Swiss 4, they've got their hands about the fingers, about where their armpits are. And the reason for this is that the latissimus dorsi attaches about here, and it merges in your back right at the bottom tip of your shoulder blades. So this is the height of your lats, essentially. So of course I want to row like this. What you will feel when you row like this is that the force entry point makes it much more direct. Your body weight suspends much better. Now, if you go into the catch like this and then go up like that, see, you have this massive dent here. And of course you then have a higher force peak, but the higher force peak is not as sustainable. And if you want to have sustainable, continuous, smooth acceleration, which essentially the rowing stroke should be, then you need to have your hands about here and suspend your body weight for the entirety of the drive. It's as simple as this. Why don't we want a short, jerky acceleration? Try it out. Smack water with your open hand. That's the shortest jerky acceleration you can possibly get, and it hurts. It's not good. So if you want to move a displacement hull, which the rowing boat essentially is, as quickly as possible through the water, we need an acceleration that is persistent and not creating unnecessary resistance. So speed changes in the water are exhausting. So you want to avoid speed changes. And of course, an acceleration is a speed change, but the question is, can you distribute the acceleration over a longer period of time rather than doing this? Wouldn't it be better to do that? And this changes everything. This is why I like plateau-ish curves. And the other extreme, of course, would be to find resistance here, not going into the lats, but bending your arms. Yes, it does work. And it creates beautiful curves, but it's not sustainable. I leg press 400, 450 kilo for reps. I cannot bench pull 450 kilo for reps, by no means. Not even if I tried, it's just impossible. So my legs would easily overpower the rest of my body. I cannot afford to row this way. And therefore, it is more effective to row like most of the other athletes in that boat, trying to be long, smooth, and hang. But that, of course, takes time. That's what we did today, by the way, in the Saturday class. I coach people every Saturday. You can join from any rowing machine you've got and even from the water. Right? We worked on this. How do you get there? It's a pre-stretch and then push, and the push should give you a bit more stretch, and then you hold it. That's pretty much the secret. In previous years, Oxford had a couple of these rowers in the boat where the force curves would deviate drastically. This is the year where both crews have exactly one rower who visually differs from the others, and they both have tremendous speed. So, was it a mistake to put these guys in? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Absolutely not. But we've got eyes and we can see, okay, their rowing style is different. If you row like this, you generate force curves that look a bit different, because it's not just that he's using the upper body early, he's actually raising his handles too late. That means the stability of his hands comes a bit too late, and he's seeking resistance by moving the upper body rather than stretching forward and stretching out. Here, what I'm looking for is something like this. That's the legendary Swiss men's 4, lightweight men's 4. What a pity they don't have this in the program anymore. By the way, in Austria this year, in 2026, in August, there's a dedicated lightweight regatta, European lightweight regatta. So lightweight rowing might not be Olympic anymore, but there are certainly events specifically targeting lightweight rowing. Look at this. That's exactly what I mean. That long suspension, finding resistance with your arms long, pushing. That's one of the fastest lightweight men's 4 there's ever been. And their best time was almost as fast as the open weight best time in the men's 4. So from that point of view, I understand why lightweight rowing actually is essentially canceled, because, hey, look, if you look at the world best times, they're not that far off. So if these guys could have had 2 kilos more muscle mass, or 3 kilos or 4 kilos more muscle mass, maybe a bit of extra fat, who knows if they would not have set a new overall world best time. I personally am pretty sure they would have. So lightweight rowing wasn't easier. Other than that, both crews have a beautiful long drive, beautiful rhythm, and it's easy to say, oh, the rhythm is great. Why was it great? Because they use their upper body weights in a very synchronized way. They suspend their body weights and they hold on to that suspension for the entire drive and end it not with a pull, but with the torso here. Pa! This is something that is unique to see with both crews, and the quality of the boat race of 2026 by far surpasses anything I've seen in the recent years. The umpire was kept very busy. It's another one of these close calls, always in the bends. It's always in the bends where you try to really fight for the best possible line. But look at the beautiful punchy Cambridge rhythm. Pa! In with the weight behind the oars, with the weight behind the oars. Same with Oxford. Look at Oxford punching with their body weights behind the oars. Yes, that was a super close call. But I think Oxford was also saying, hey, look, Cambridge, you can't take our line. We're not going to back off. And that's exactly what you should be doing as a coxswain. It's always a close call, but there is no such thing as trying to win and not risking anything. This is not a lane race. That's an open water race. It's an outdoor sport. So I understand both coxswains here. Absolutely. So that's at the milepost. Next one is going to be Hammersmith Bridge. And of course, these bends are crucial. You could see Oxford had to deviate from the line a tiny bit. I think this is what cost them. This is where they lost a bit. Because ultimately, Oxford didn't lose much. They weren't that far behind. Look at the stroke eye of Cambridge. Absolutely adore his rhythm. Absolutely. Technique, wonderful, punchy behind it. And there you don't see much arm bend here. He's long, he's suspended, trying to go into the lat and ending it here. It's a joy to watch this. Absolutely. Both crews. It's such a joy. You presented such a beautiful race this year. Imagine you're in a position of Oxford, and statistically, if you can't catch up after this long bend now, you realistically you're not going to make it. You're not going to win. What do? You lose in style. You push. Because what if Cambridge catches a crab? Even the commentator said this. If you are behind, I want you, this is what I tell my athletes, I want you to be the worst possible opponent you could fear for. You're like a dog that doesn't stop biting. You're like a fighter that doesn't stop attacking. The thing is, what if you would refuse to settle for second until the end? What if you were okay losing and say, I'm going to lose hard. I'm not going to give in. That's an attitude that sets you apart from everybody else. You have to be able to be behind and push like there's no tomorrow. You can't wait for outside motivation and say, oh, if I'm in the lead, then I'm going. No, no. Luck is where preparation meets opportunity. In this case, there was no opportunity because Cambridge didn't catch a crab. Cambridge probably was, on a physical level, a bit faster. But the heart of both crews, and especially of Oxford, is something I admire deeply. They're fighting. They're absolutely fighting to the last degree. And that's something that's not like heroic, you got to fight. No, you have to be the worst opposition you could fear for. That's what sets you apart. And maybe not in this race, but if these athletes were able to fight for the last and second place until the line and to accept defeat only when it's time to accept it, then you will take on the same attitude, a positive attitude, the same kind of, this is how I move, this is how I roll, and you're going to transfer this into other race experiences and other life experiences. This is not a philosophical video. It's a fact. How are you wired? What are you made of? Do you give up and cry if you're behind? Or do you fight and fight and fight and I'm going to do another and another, I'm going to attack again? Because you never know. You never know. When I founded BioRower, I had zero experience founding companies. I don't come from an entrepreneurial family. I do not. I do not come from a wealthy family. I had to work my way up with day jobs. For quite some time, it didn't look like I would make it at all. I had business partners who betrayed me. I had business partners who tried to make my life difficult. I had people trying to take away the company from me. I had people who tried to make it hard for the company to survive. That's part of it. So back to Oxford. Now they come into that choppy bit. That's what I started the video with. You have to be able to row in these conditions. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, it's too choppy. I'm not going to fight on. Of course you will. Oh, it's too choppy. What if Oxford catches us? Of course you fight on. No, you cannot lower the stroke rate. You will keep your rhythm. You will fight. And I really want to convey that. Look at the Whitecaps. This is almost ocean rowing. So what? So what? Continue. Practice it. Go in the water. If it's a warm day and it's safe to fall in for you, go out and risk it, even in a single. This is, by the way, my first year that I will row the single again. And I'm looking forward to seek out the rough days and the rough conditions, because this is where I sharpen my skills. So this now is pretty much the gap they will have at the end of the race. That's all. That's all they lose. And that's only minute 9. So from minute 9, they look, oh, did you see this? Did you catch this? The coxswain of Cambridge turned around and say, we're not doing well. We are not doing well. Where are they? Where are they? Look at the riggers being underwater. Did you catch this? The riggers being here underwater. Is Oxford doing better than us? Is Oxford catching up? No, they're struggling just like you're struggling. But both teams are struggling so well. So well. From a rower's and athlete's and coach's perspective, this race made me happy to watch. This is the essence of rowing. It's not go out on a beautiful day and give you both the opportunity to have a bath in soft warm water. This is what rowing was meant to be. It's a sailor's competition. That's how it started out. You see, now Oxford opened a bit more on Cambridge at roughly minute 10. Let's move forward a bit. Here you see the gap very well. That's it. Now they're pretty much in the same line. They're hurting. They're absolutely insecure. Oh, where are we? Are we ever going to catch up? Is it even worth it? Yes, it is worth it. Here, another choppy bit. So it's 10 minutes of hard racing and then another 10 minutes of very hard racing in very rough conditions. That's essentially what the boat race was in 2026. Thanks for watching. I hope this was interesting. BioRower.com to get one of these beauties. It's the world's best rowing machine, and it's probably the best investment you can make for your rowing on land. It prepares you better than anything else for the on-water rowing. If you want to work with me, go to rmtraining.com. I write training plans, I coach people online and offline. This year, for example, I run a series of camps in Vienna. There are a couple of open spots. These camps are small. I try to keep them tiny, no more than 6 people, because I want to work with you guys directly. Not 2, 3, 5, 6 coaches and we meet each other randomly. No, I want to work with you guys in person. 2026 is the year where I can still do it. So join if you're interested. And if you could help me grow the channel, I'd much appreciate your subscription and like and share the video if you feel like, hey, I think you could benefit from that. And if you've got ideas and if you've got things you want me to talk about, questions, no matter how silly these questions should be, if you think, hey, how can I row faster? I'm a novice masters rower. I coach quite a few novice masters online, help them to become competitively fit and fast. I also coach professional athletes. I coach juniors trying to make the college. No question is too stupid. Ask right away. I'm here to help. My mission is to make rowing a bigger sport, a better sport, help more people become part of it. So if you've got questions, tell me. This is what this YouTube channel is all about. You may never want to compete, but if you're fit like a competitive rower, you are in a very good state. Thanks for subscribing and watching, and I'll see you in the next video. By the way, you just need to row faster. That's the hack. That's the cheat code, you know, bro. That was a joke.